So Gina Carano just keeps getting win after win after win, and today she got yet another one with Joe Rogan himself coming out and defending Gina Carano, destroying cancel culture. Kevin Hart a few days ago came out and did the same thing. It seems like the tides are turning. Let's check it out. So like I keep saying, every single time we get Gina Carano news, it seems like it's always positive. Every single time someone talks about cancel culture lately, when it comes to people inside of Hollywood, they're always talking badly about cancel culture. That goes against their programming, which is exactly what Joe Rogan talks about in this video that I'm going to show you in 1 second. Joe Rogan is talking about the left-leaning people in Hollywood who aren't actually left-leaning, just being programmed or being forced to promote these left-leaning concepts, promote stuff like cancel culture, join in on the cancelization of these innocent people. A lot of us around here know about the Gina Carano situation because it was a very big situation. A lot of people heard about this situation, but especially us because we're very involved in it. We love Star Wars and we also love freedom of speech and all that good stuff. So whenever Gina Carano was canceled, it was a big deal to us. But there's a lot of people out there all the time losing their jobs for similar things to Gina Carano, for simply speaking their minds on social media, questioning things that a lot of people are just forced to not question. A lot of people on the left, a lot of people in Hollywood just refuse to question this stuff. And for some reason, whenever someone simply questions something that they think, they feel it's necessary to make them lose their job, to lose their livelihood that they have been working on forever. But let's check out what Joe Rogan has to say about these types of people, about Hollywood, about cancel culture, and about the Gina Carano situation. Let's check it out. This article is from Bounding Into Comics. Comedian and podcaster Joe Rogan slams Hollywood actors, claiming that their insecurities lead them to push woke agendas in order to land acting gigs. 100%, we saw that a few weeks ago with Scarlett Johansson, who we thought had become an ally. She had talked badly about cancel culture. She talked badly about the woke agenda being pushed. And then she just flips. As soon as Black Widow looks like it's going to flop, she just flips because it's a win-win for her. On one hand, she's going to get cast in future Disney projects. She might even come back to the MCU. We don't know. But on one hand, she's going to look good in Disney's eyes because she's pushing the agenda that Disney wants her to push. But on the other hand, it forces people to have sympathy for her because she says that Black Widow was overly sexualized in Iron Man 2. Of course she was, but she wants people to feel sympathy for her. She wants people, the woke mob on Twitter, to go after Disney and also agree with Scarlett Johansson, causing Disney to try and make up for it by casting Scarlett Johansson in future projects. She knows what she's doing. She had no problem with being over-sexualized whenever she was collecting those checks, and that's exactly what Joe Rogan talks about right here. Let's check out what Joe Rogan has to say in this clip.
This is the problem not just with Hollywood, but also with Los Angeles, because Los Angeles is inexorably connected to show business. There is no getting around that. It's the reason why a large percentage of people move there, and it also massively affects the politics of the place, and not just politics, but social discussions, the way people communicate, because it's an incredibly disingenuous way of communicating where you want to say the things that people are going to want to hear because that way they're going to cast you. So here's the thing.
That's exactly what I said about Scarlett Johansson. We thought that she thinks like us. We thought that she thinks the same way as us, and she does. But she can't say that. That's not going to land her more roles. She is smart by saying what she said, because like I said, win-win situation for her. She's going to get more roles because people feel sad for her. People are going to sympathize over it. And also, she's pushing the agenda that Disney wants her to push. It's a win-win for actors to do stuff like that because it's going to get them more work. It's going to make them more money. They don't believe this stuff. And the people that don't believe this stuff and don't choose to conform to the mob, to conform to the left-leaning agendas that everybody's pushing in Hollywood, the people that don't do that end up getting canceled, end up getting fired, losing their jobs, and not being cast in any more roles. Gina Carano is a perfect example. I don't even think that Gina Carano has ever come out and said that she's a right-wing person, that she's a conservative. I don't think she said that. I think it's kind of understood now because she's with the Daily Wire and all that stuff, but I don't think she ever said that prior to her being fired. She just simply questions things that a lot of people just refuse to question, and honestly, it confuses me why people refuse to question this stuff, and they go so far as to get someone fired, to make them lose their livelihood whenever someone just questions some things that they believe in.
Like a non-natural environment. It's usually a conference room in a production office. And you're in this non-natural environment with these smug people that have this massive amount of power over you. and it shapes the way people communicate. Like, I've been in rooms where they'll discuss politics like right away, and you see people bend to whichever way the wind is blowing. Like, what do I have to say?
What
like,
are they wanting me to say?
I think it's about time we had a woman president. Like, they'll say shit.
Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, like you
yeah.
see it. You see the they don't have opinions. These, and when I say they,
No, they do have opinions. They do have opinions, and they don't always line up with what comes out of their mouth, but they don't care. They're willing to sacrifice their opinions to get more acting roles. And if that's what you want, if that's important to you, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. I would never be able to do that. We see a lot of people on YouTube get really big on YouTube, like Ethan Klein, H3H3. He got big on YouTube talking badly about the woke people, talking badly about this leftist agenda that's always being pushed. And then he gets to the top, he gets famous, he gets well known, and he totally flips. He becomes the king of the wokeness. And it's just sad, man, because all of these people claim they do have opinions. I know H3H3 doesn't think the way that he talks. I know he doesn't, but he's forced to think like that because when you get that big, platforms like YouTube, platforms like Disney, platforms like Hollywood, anywhere that's big, anywhere that you're going to get well known by being on the screen, they force you to think like that. If Ethan Klein doesn't think like that, things like what happened to Steven Crowder would happen to him. If he actually told the truth, if he actually said what he was actually thinking, he would get canceled. He would get demonetized just like Steven Crowder. We've seen it a million times. It happens over and over again, and it's really sad. Joe Rogan's even exposing it in this video. Someone who was involved in Hollywood. He's no longer in Hollywood anymore. He does do comedy still, but he has acted in the past. He has been in Hollywood in the past. Same thing with Kevin Hart. But Joe Rogan came out and just straight up said, these people, these actors, these actresses, they don't actually believe the stuff that they're spewing whenever they're trying to get cast in roles. They're just saying whatever they have to get more jobs, and I respect it. But at the same time, I could never think like that. I could never sacrifice my own morals, my own opinions, just to make some money. He then went on to say because their career is they're insecure people that go to a place where they're going to get rejected a lot, it's the worst thing ever for their mental health. And that's what I've been saying. All of these people who are not super famous already, because we do have a few people in Hollywood who express their conservative views and don't get canceled. But you better believe if they were to express their conservative views, they would get cast in a lot more roles. But these people, these up and coming actors who go there, these young people that go there trying to get cast and stuff, will keep spewing these things out of their mouth that they don't actually believe. They're just going to push that leftist agenda in order to get more jobs. And then they're surrounded by everyone in Los Angeles who has been also spewing this leftist agenda that they don't really believe in, but they have to say it. They're surrounded by all those people. And then they begin to really think that way. They begin to really think, this is how I should think because that's the right way of thinking. They are brainwashed. Look at some employees, Disney employees, anyone who works in Hollywood who thinks that way and hasn't thought that way in the past, who just started thinking that way whenever they got to Hollywood, whenever they started working in that business, they're brainwashed. They're pushing this agenda so hard that you can't get cast and stuff if you're an up and coming actor, if you're not already at the top, if you're not already famous. You can't get cast and stuff unless you conform to their beliefs. It's wild, man. It's wild. People like Gina Carano get canceled over this stuff. Joe Rogan also says, I would go on these auditions and I would see these poor Fs that were like lost in this world of being chosen for things. And that's what shapes the entire mindset of that part of the country. The entire mindset of that part of the country is doing things that you think other people will like. And that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what's socially accepted. It's not socially accepted to push this conservative agenda, to push a right-wing agenda. Hell no, they cannot do that. They would never in a million years, if you're an up-and-coming actor, if you want to get cast and stuff, never say anything that leans right. Never say anything that leans conservative. That's what happened to Gina Carano. If you say anything that identifies with the right wing or conservative viewpoints, you will be canceled and you will definitely not get cast in any future roles. You'll never be at the top like people who spew this left-wing agenda like Scarlett Johansson, who seemed like an ally. And I'm not saying I'm right-wing. I'm not saying I'm left-wing. I don't identify with any of that stuff. I just think it's totally ridiculous that people get canceled over this kind of thing, that people get canceled over beliefs, over opinions. It's wild. And I'm just against that. But Scarlett Johansson, who we thought was an ally, who we thought that she was a free thinker, just came out and said that, you know, I'm not actually a free thinker. I think Black Widow is overly sexualized. Now feel bad for me, pity me, and get me cast in more future roles in this woke Hollywood. And that's just sad that people like Scarlett Johansson, I know in her head she's not thinking that way, but it's sad because she is absolutely forced to think that way, or she won't get cast in any more roles. But like I said, Joe Rogan isn't the only person who has been defending Gina Carano against cancel culture, who has been destroying cancel culture. We also had Kevin Hart a few days ago says, shut the F up to cancel culture. I personally don't give a S about it. We have this guy, director Phil Lee, who I've never heard of before he started talking about the Gina Carano situation. But this guy and the guy that he had on his show right here, Siaka, are both up and coming directors and actors, and they're talking about Gina Carano in a positive way. They're talking against cancel culture. They're trying to get cancel culture canceled themselves. And these types of people, whenever you finally have these people being free thinkers and being able to express their beliefs when they're trying to make it in Hollywood, these are the type of people that I'm talking about that get brainwashed on their way up, and then they're surrounded by the people. It's just a never ending, it's a ruthless cycle. But these types of people are finally starting to make it through. They're finally starting to be able to express their own thoughts, or they're sacrificing some roles or sacrificing some money in order to express these thoughts. Either way, huge wins for Gina Carano, because they are talking good about Gina Carano. They are supporting her up and coming actors. We have people like Joe Rogan, Kevin Hart, people at the top supporting Gina Carano against cancel culture. We have people on the come up supporting Gina Carano against cancel culture. She has a lot of support, whether you're at the top, whether you're on the come up, and the people on the come up are really the important ones, because like I said, those are the people who were never allowed to say their true beliefs, but they don't care. They're like, you know what? This is wrong. We have to start standing up for something, or this is never going to end. But let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Let me know what you think about Joe Rogan's thoughts on cancel culture, on Hollywood, on all those actors pushing that leftist agenda. What do you think about this whole situation? Let me know what you think in the comments. But if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, both of those links will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you in the next one.